Alright, I'm going to talk a little bit about mixing chemical for soft washing. So there's 3 different ways you can do it. I guess 4 if you want to include X-Jet. I don't have an X-Jet. I've never used an X-Jet, so I'm not going to talk about it. You can batch mix it. You can use a proportioner. And then you can downstream it. Downstream will give you a ratio of 1 to 10. So if you're using 12.5% bleach, or I guess 1 to 9, however you want to look at it, 1 to 10. If you're downstreaming 12.5% bleach, you're going to be getting a 1.25% mix out of your gun, which is going to be good for any house washes with vinyl siding or something like that. Might have a tough time with brick a little bit, but like stucco vinyl, you're going to be fine on that, even if you want to do gutter and fascia cleaning, kind of as an add-on to windows, because that's, for me, what I like to do. I get most of my calls for window cleaning, and then I got to kind of do my deal to get the rest of my jobs. So point out, like, oh, hey, your gutters are dirty. Here's a price for this. Driveway's dirty. Here's a price for that. And then most people's, like, the face of their gutters are dirty. So that's a fairly easy add-on to do. If you want to just downstream, stick your chemical line into your chemical bucket, right? And then you're going to have water coming through your actual pressure hose here. And then as this water comes in, it's going to be moving with so much force that it will actually draw chemical up through here at a 1 to 10 ratio for you. Super easy to do. And then if you have a shutoff, which you should, if you have a shutoff right here, once you apply your chemical and it's time to rinse, all you have to do is turn your shut off, shut your chemical off. You just have water coming through there. Downstream, I like downstreaming. Downstreaming's pretty easy to do, very low cost, because all you're really going to need is a downstream injector, and that's it, right? You don't need a separate hose. You don't need a separate hose reel. You don't need separate guns. You will have to invest in like some tips, some J-rod tips. But downstreaming's good. Proportioner. I've used proportioners. I don't use proportioner. I don't do enough. How do I phrase this? I haven't had to change my proportioner enough to where it really makes sense to use it all that much, right? Because most of what I do is washing houses. If you're doing roofs, or like if you pre-treat, post-treat your concrete, proportioner might not be a bad idea. But the thought on a proportioner, this is how one of my skids is set up, right? You have your water tank. You have your SH tank, and you have soap. And you've got lines coming out of each one of these that all meet up at your proportioner. And so the thought is, if you're doing a wide variety of stuff, it makes it very easy to proportion out your chemical to where you want it. So what your proportioner is going to look like. You're going to have your pump. That's what it's going to look like, right? Each one of these are lines going into your respective tank. And then these will have dials on them, metering valves. I've seen people make their own with just 90-degree shutoffs, whatever. But the thought is this will have kind of measurements to go off of as far as your dials go. You're going to want to crack your soap dial just to get some surfactant in there. Surfactant's just so your mix sticks onto whatever that you are spraying it on, right? Because if you just spray water on a house, it's going to run right down. Kind of like when you wash your hands, you put soap on there. Soap will stay on your hands a lot longer than if you just rub your hands with water. Your water's going to drip off. So then as far as your water goes, a lot of people say keep your water all the way open, and then you can adjust your SH to get the mixture you want. So if you have your SH shut all the way off, you will be pulling 100% water. If you turn your SH all the way on, then you will be getting equal mixes of water and sodium hypochlorite. So you'll be getting 50% water, 50% bleach, right? If you're using 12.5% bleach, that's going to cut it in half. You will be looking at a 6.25% mix on that, right? So it's just kind of it's a proportioner. You got to look at it in proportions to what you're doing. So then if you close your SH halfway off, you're getting half the flow you got at 50%. So you're going to be looking at half of your 6.25, right? So you're going to be looking at 1.67 or something, or 3.67, I mean. That's wrong. Hold on. 3.12 for 5%, so 3% mix. Look at it again. You close it another halfway. It's going to cut that in half again. You're just choking it down. So you'll be looking at your 1.5% mix for your houses. My thing with proportioners too is when I've had employees, it's hard to explain to them how it works. I'm not even sure that I did a great job there. It'd probably be better to actually show you on my proportioner. I don't use that a lot. I've used it on roofs a couple times. But really, for a lot of the stuff I do, it's easier just to downstream or batch mix in a pump sprayer for something small. And then so batch mixing, that's kind of our last one here. And that one gets kind of confusing too if you think too hard on it. So you have, let's just call this your chemical tank. You've got it half full. You've got 10 gallons of SH, which is going to be 12.5%. And if anybody knows why it's 12.5% and not something a little more normal, let me know. I don't know if that's got to do with how hot a mix can be before. I don't know. But I've always wondered that, why not just keep it 10 or why not go 15? Well, let's say you got your chemical tank. You got 10 gallons of bleach. You're going to add 10 gallons of water. So what'd you do? You made a 1-to-1 mix. That's going to cut your 12.5% in half. You're going to be looking at your 6.25% mix. So if you wanted to do a super jacked up roof, you could cut it half and half. And then from there, I don't know. I don't know if this is the way other people do it, but I know if I do a half and a half mix, then I've got 6.5%. Oopsie. I know that if I add, so we got 20 gallons here. Now let's just make this a little easier. We've got a gallon of SH, we've got a gallon of water, 6.5% mix. I know if I add another 2 gallons of water, right? We just made, this is 6.5%. I just added another part to it, right? Because this has 2 parts. I added 2 more parts water. That is going to cut it in half again. So we're at a 3-to-1 ratio to get 3.25%. So look at this now here. We've got this whole block, which would be 4 gallons, 3 gallons of water, 1 gallon of SH is going to be 3.25% for 4 gallons total. If I add 4 more gallons, it is going to cut this in half again. So you had 1 original part, SH, 1, 2, 3 parts water. We added 4 more parts water. So you're looking at a 7-to-1 ratio to get 1.65? Whatever. You get it. So you're going to have to mix 7-to-1 with 12.5% sodium hypochlorite to get your house wash mix. And then, I mean, even that, it's like, you just kind of got to know your ratios on that. Because it's like, oh, well, mix house wash. I know I'm mixing 7 gallons of water to 1 gallon of bleach. That's kind of a pain in the butt, too. Because then whenever... A thing I really don't like about batch mixing, if you're doing it in like a pump sprayer for something small, love that. I really do like that. It's super easy, super quick, pull out, just hit what you need to hit. The bad thing is, right, I don't run a proportioner. I can't downstream onto a roof. The times that I've done roofs, if I mix up, I got 6 gallons of bleach, right? And then I do a 6-to-1 ratio. So I've got 42 gallons of water. I'm looking at 48 gallons of total mix. I'm not going to lie, I haven't done this quite long enough to be like, oh yeah, that roof will take this much mix. So let's say I only use half of that. I'm still left with 24 gallons. Well, now I gotta figure out how the hell I'm gonna proportion that out to use a house mix or whatever. And then another thing is if, right, I do windows, I do gutters, I do window cleaning, I do gutter cleaning, gutter guards. It could be a while before I'm soft washing again. I don't have a good place to store this once it's in my tank. Right, so you're going to end up with a very weak mix after it's sat for a while, which, you know, just kind of is what it is. It is what it is. I hope that helps. I know there's lots of other videos explaining that exact same thing, but that's the way that I understand it. Might be the way you do too, I don't know.